Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is October 22nd, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribe down in your right hand corner. That would be muchly appreciated. We'd really appreciate your support in trying up this channel to grow the community. Anyway, we're doing a review on last night's game just a couple hours ago. The Capitals were in Montreal. We hung on to get a victory 3-2 in overtime. We got the goal fairly quick by Cole Caulfield. And, as excited as everybody gets when we all see our baby boy score. That's great, dandy. But he didn't have the strongest game. Let's be honest. Him and Suzuki still haven't had their strongest games. I don't know what it's going to take to get them a kick in the tush, to get their butts rolling, because I think in the beginning of the game, for most of the game, it was Suzuki playing half decent, still not his best, and Caulfield was having glimpses, but not any consistency. He started coming on towards the end of the third period. It's these two. As much as I like them, maybe they do got to be pulled apart, because I don't know. You got Harvey Pinard busting his butt off consistently. So, and yes, they did play a little better, but not to what they should be doing. It's time for them to start kicking it in high gear. They are the production. That's what they got their big contracts for. It's time to earn it. So Harvey Pinard had a great game. That second line, Slavkovsky, Newhook, and Pearson, looks there's definitely chemistry. You can see it between Newhook and Slav, although Pearson fits in beautifully. Just fits in, yeah, there's no doubt about it that he's doing quite well there. What a great pickup that was in that trade, making quite a difference. And can't say enough about him. Slavkovsky, to me, as much as he's having good moments, I still see too many deer in the headlight moments, legs not moving moments. He's great when he's moving, and he's willing to get physical. He's getting better. He just still, to me, doesn't seem like he's ready. I would send him to Laval, let him get that top line, make sure that they're instructed to give him first line minutes continually, and let him get used to it, because there's just a couple pieces. He's got to put the rest of it together because you can just see the pieces. And yet there are guys that are playing worse than him. I'll grant you that. Well, more so down to one guy. Josh Anderson had a very good game tonight. I commend Josh Anderson. Actually, I think it was him. Yeah, he was actually in on that second line, and he was dangerous tonight. So he was very consistent. Where Slab wasn't consistent, that was Slab's problem. Newhook had a very good game, but Josh Anderson was one of the better players. Like Pinard had a good game until he made that screw up where he didn't cover the man on the second goal for the Caps. That was his error. Matheson made an error on the first goal. And Matheson and Savard, to me, I've said it all along since they started this, that pairing is not going to work. And it's not working. They hurt each other. They just don't complement each other whatsoever. Harris and Barron played quite well tonight. Those two were your better defensemen tonight. As a matter of fact, Harris is so smooth that the majority of times he is, and people don't like it, get on his case because he's not flashy. But his consistency is way ahead of a lot of guys. And Jack, I had a couple shaky moments where he got beat in foot races, but he did make up for it with the amount of body he was taking. So he earns his errors, he makes up for. And it was funny how, I got to say, George Larac was totally right that Tom Wilson was no threat out there tonight at all. And he wanted nothing to do with the Jacka fight. You could tell it. So amazing how that just changed his whole tune, the way he played us. Yeah. And because there was the sheriff was there to take care of him. So he wasn't going to be his normal self. Anyway, let's get back to the score sheet. Score sheet starts first period. We get a goal by Sean Monahan standing. He gets a nice tip in front of the net, assisted by Suzuki and Caulfield on the power play. So this was making us think, all right, we finally got a power play goal. No, this just kind of was a tease because the amount of 5-on-3s we had in this game was ridiculous, and we couldn't capitalize. Okay, second period, we get another goal at 9:50. Nice to see Brendan Gallagher. Actually, this was probably his best game of the season. Still, he's not doesn't have the foot speed. However, he looked better because this is a slower club that needs a rebuild. The Capitals, they're an aging team, so he could match that a bit better. So good to see him get the monkey off his back. However, I honestly got to be honest. I think the end of the road for him is so close. It's ridiculous. But anyway, nice to see him get it, assisted by Sean Monahan and Tanner Pearson. Third period, again, we collapsed. Um, just Matheson losing his man on the boards, puck out to the front of the net area. Nothing, there's nothing. Ovechkin made a beautiful cross ice pass to Strome, and a nice feed, unselfishly. And if you're saying he's just selfish, take a look. That guy feeds some good pucks. Beautiful pass. Dylan Strome makes no mistake. Couldn't blame that on Allen whatsoever. Allen had a fabulous game. And then at 17:59, they get a second one because Harvey Pinard does not pick up his man. And again, coming back, he fails to catch him, and there's another one. Strome gets another one. 2 goals. Tie game going into overtime. Looked kind of scary, actually. They were Capitals that didn't take them much to press, and that just showed you this is where we got problems. We're that young. We got issues in this department. Teams can come back on us very quickly and can surpass us. No doubt about it. We're just lucky that there was what we held up enough to come back and win. Thank God in overtime we came back with a goal 47 seconds in. A nice pass, but I would say in the old days that probably would have been considered an offside. I think under the new system is what makes it different. The way they're calling offside is so different now. So Cole Caulfield gets it with a beautiful feed out from Nick. So it was finally nice to see them do something together. And Mike Matheson set it up. But this power play with Suzuki, Caulfield, and Matheson on the power play is a bunch of BS. How do you, after you have a 4-3? So anyway, I'm going to give you the stats before I go any further. 33 shots for Washington, 28 for us, 14 hits each. Face-offs 22 for Washington, 31 for us. We won on that. 0-5 for power plays. Thank God. Our penalty kill did well. 1 for 6 on the power play. Our power play is brutal. And here's the biggest, the funny thing about that. It's this. I got to bring Marty as being partial blame on this now, because time's up. Don't give me the crap. But you keep putting the same first power play unit out just after they've screwed up and can't capitalize. Give the second unit some time. You need a switch out there. And face-offs, we led in the face-offs department, 31-20. Okay, yeah, so 1 for 6 on the power play. Penalty minutes, they got 12, we had 10. So kind of not disciplined on either way. Giveaways, they had 13, we had 11. Takeaways, they had 4, we had 5. Block shots, 19-17 for them. And again, Allen was the first star. No doubt, and he deserved it. Hands down, Strome was the second star. It should have been that way. Caulfield shouldn't have been the third star. Just because you get a winning goal doesn't make you a star. And we have a bad habit of doing that in Montreal, to be honest. I could have Monahan, Pearson both played a better game than Caulfield. Let's be realistic. And Ylonen had a very strong game. That line, that third line or fourth line is very good. Evans, Pizzetta, and Ylonen, they seem to have some serious chemistry there. I like that line a lot. And Evans is rejuvenated. Thank God he is. He's starting to look like his old self again, and that's nice to see. Because I thought he's not been the same until now. He's starting to show signs of how he was before the Shifley hit. That's what we need to see, and he's playing good hockey. He's been one of the better Habs so far, one of the more consistent ones. So with that being said, we just a dead awful game with this power play. How many 5-on-3s? If you have to, if you can't bury a team with a 5-on-3, you're going to lose them a lot of games, a lot more. You have to get the killer instinct. You have to capitalize, and this is where I say time's up for the excuses on Alex Burrows. I've heard them all. Bunch of BS. I'm tired of it. Yes, we know we have a lot of third liners on this team. That we don't have elite players, but that excuse can only get you so far. Um, Craig Button made a very valid point on the Tony Marinaro show the other night when he was asked about it and when he coached and was hired by Gainey. And Gainey was very clear. When you took a job, you did your job, and if you failed at it, you were fired. The accountability is coming on you, no one else. Marty doesn't seem to want to pull the trigger on that, but this guy's been here for 2.5 years now, Alex Burrows. And yeah, he had a very quick flash that when he first got on, um, I think, I'm pretty sure that Claude Julien was just still there when he, or was it Ducharme? Anyway, either way, when he first got there, I think it was under Claude Julien. However, either way, when he first got there, it showed a difference of improvement, like for a flick, and then it was off, and then he was way worse than Muller. We knew there were problems because there's been problems with that power play and penalty kill for quite some time. But to go be worse at it, and you've had 2.5 years, the personnel has changed continually, drastically. There's no excuses anymore. Don't give me the crap. I don't want to be fed to garbage anymore. It's Marty doesn't want to be a bad guy because Alex is a nice guy. I get it. Well, put him into development or fire him. You got one choice. It's a business is a business. The guy's failing. Has failed. There's not failing. He has failed. 2.5 years he failed, and you failed miserably. Uh, so it's time for management to also take the torch and say, okay, Marty, we give you a lot of leash, but you're unwilling to deal with the problem. And I'm sorry to keep pumping out that first unit when it's unsuccessful continually. These guys continually want to keep feeding it to Caulfield. They're not give Teams are not going to give them that space. They got to start firing the puck and coming up with different venues, ideas of how to produce some points. You got to start finding some shots at the front of the net. This has got to change. We've heard the same story for what, a year and a half now, 2 years. It's just ridiculous. See you later, Alex. Time to go. I don't care who tells me this, that about our ingredients. It doesn't wash with me anymore. It just doesn't. There's got to be accountability. Show me different strategies on the power play. Then I would think differently. I've seen the same thing continually. They're trying the same thing over and over. It's got to change. And then that second unit never gets a chance. How are you going to put out the second unit and give them 40 seconds? You're not even giving them a chance to set up. Barely. And I mean, especially after you just had a 4-on-3 that you were on, and then you get to 5-on-3, and the first unit has been on there long enough, had a chance and failed. You get the second unit out there and give them a chance. Why is your power play failing? Because you keep coming up with the same thing and same guys. Now, yes, we got one, but that was a fluke. We don't get cash in very often. But you can clearly see we're trying the same garbage over and over. It's got to stop. So I think it's time for Hughes to come down and say, Alex, you got to go, or he puts him in a development, whatever, with young people. I don't care. Wanted to send him to Laval and put him as an assistant there or something if you want. Go for it. But he's failed in Montreal. He's not a power play specialist whatsoever. And it's got to be done. Management has now got to take the step that, okay, Marty, we know you're too soft to do it. We're going to do it. We're taking the initiative. See you later. We got to get somebody who can do something with that power play. It's a darn shame that Vinny wouldn't get back there. But I'd like to see even Carpenter come back for that position because he knew both ends of that, and he was very successful when he coached. He was very successful as a player. So I think he'd be an ideal candidate to work with Marty. However, there's got to be something, anything better than Alex Burrows. That's the way this is gone. He's had too much time. Then the next thing is I just want to speak more on the Doc situation where it was clarified that his injury was last time I was on. We didn't have everything in yet, but I've had the identical injury. It's a bad one. ACL, meniscus. He'll be gone the year, and that's a huge loss because he was probably our best player while he was in there. And I honestly think he might have had things gone right, been jumping into that first center role because he was showing that promise. Shame for him, but I think he can bounce back. He's got that mentality. I think he's a strong guy mentally, and I think he'll be fine next year. Going to be a lot of work though, because that's a hard injury to come back from. But then we had the news of Caden Gooley, and it was amazing how some of the podcasts sites wanted to jump on this and pump out from a couple because they keep relying on poor sources like Rennie Lavoie, Habs Fanatics, just a couple of sites that usually jump the gun and give you premature information, and it usually ends up being wrong. Well, this podcast, a couple of these podcasters wanted to get out there and Caden Gooley's gone for 8 weeks with a broken wrist. And you're following it. It makes me laugh because people can't be too concerned. They must be interested in just clickbait. Just because you're great at the little things you draw in the crowd with, the clickbait, but then you feed people a bunch of BS. Thank God that the Habs came out right after that, the very next day. And of course, you changed your tune after the Habs came out with it when we were told it's day to day. Thank God, because I get tired of people putting out false information. It's bad enough when we get burnt. We all got cut. A lot of us learned our lesson with Rennie Lavoie reports. I should have known, but at least a lot of us did say that when he put that out there on a trade, and he was totally wrong on it. Or no, it was the Mayu thing. Sorry, it was the Mayu thing, and he was totally wrong. We all put it out there, but at least some of us were smart enough to say being reported by so and so, like Rennie Lavoie. Don't know if it's true yet, but this particular couple sites here that I'm speaking of, they don't even say that. They just come out and put it out there, and they want to jump on. Oh, let's be the first to get out the news. You're the first to put out false news, and it seems to be consistent by you. And I just would like to see your followers wake up to, these guys are great at BSing us. You got lots of flashy doodads on their screen, but that's all they got. Talk a bunch of bull beep. You know what I'm talking about. The menorah that's on the field. Anyway, it looks good on them that they were wrong again. Anyway, thank you for following. Just wanted to break down Habs win 3-2, 47 seconds in. Caulfield gets a beautiful goal, beautiful shot from a pass feed out by Suzuki. And it was 47 seconds. Thank God they didn't waste time. And Allen stood on his head and deserved this win. And that's why there's no starter yet in Montreal. That's why I say Monty's just too unstable. So you don't have a starter yet, but it just shows you. I knew, and we shouldn't be blaming Allen for that game in Toronto because that firepower that came at us, that was a big difference in talent compared to the team Monty played to get a victory. Against Chicago, come on, Chicago, Toronto, big difference where those two teams are. So anyway, thank you for following. Where's the puck drop first? Here at Center Hice. Leave your comments, please, and tell your friends and family and people you know to join in and subscribe and follow us. Leave your comments. We want to get this community larger and go in the right direction. Until the next episode, which I believe will be the review of the Buffalo game. I believe it's Monday night, the Buffalo's game. Expect us to get slaughtered in that one. I just think they're too high caliber for us. Anyway, we'll see what happens from here on in. Barron had a good game. Harris had a good game. And Allen was fantastic. And Josh Anderson, I got to put a special thing because I'm usually on his case. He played a much better game, consistent. He was one of the better players tonight. Him and Patterson. Well, Patterson's been good, and Monahan's been good, but Anderson stood up and played a good game tonight. So give credit where it's due. Thank you for following me. Puck drops here first at Center Hice. We will catch you in the next episode. God bless. Take care.